Welcome to the Towson Sports Network studios for a special edition of the Tiger Basketball Report, where we're going to wrap up the 2014-2015 women's basketball season. Welcome back. I'm Ben Rosenbaum, joined as always by my partner in crime, Ian Jett. Ian, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Ben.
So it was a fun, exciting year. The team goes 11-21, 6-12 in the conference. Big wins over William & Mary, an overtime thriller. The first win over University of Delaware in 8 tries, and the first tournament win since the 08-09 season. Ian, your first year calling color for this team. What were your thoughts on the season?
I thought it was really exciting to watch this team grow, starting out from the season and progressing into the team they became towards the end of the season, especially with that first tournament win.
A lot of seniors in this year's team, a lot of freshmen as well. Who were some players that stood out for you and that were very important to this team's success?
Well, I think the one player that comes to everybody's mind is LaToria Hines-Allen. She was one of the best players in the conference. She was the best player on the team. But then you have Ciara Webb and Dominique Johnson, and then you have who both of them can shoot the three. We'll talk to them later and talk to them about their season. But some of the sophomores and freshmen, they've really stepped it up during towards the end of the season, which I really like to see going forward.
You mentioned LaToria Hines-Allen. Hines-Allen scored 1,000 points for her career this year, and as you said, one of the best players in the conference by far. We saw this team add some wrinkles here and there. We saw the pressure from the College of Charleston. I call it the Cougar pressure because that's when we first saw it against the Cougars. That seemed to work out for a while. They did some other things. They shot the 3-ball well. What worked for this team, and then what did you see that didn't work for this team?
They shot the 3-ball extremely well. They're going to do that next year with Dominique Johnson coming back. I mean, Dominique Johnson and Ciara Webb were just two of the best three-point shooters I've seen in all my years watching basketball. And then when they got the ball inside to Hines-Allen and when they stepped up the pressure on both sides of the ball, they worked as a team. And I think that's something that the head coach of the Tigers, Niki Reid Geckeler, really liked to see. And I think that was something I enjoyed seeing as well. And then the two things that didn't really do well is they weren't consistent as they should have been. We saw a couple games where the first half they came out sluggish and didn't really start the games as fast as we knew they could against teams that they were kind of even with, but then they came out at halftime and shot the ball extremely well from all over the floor, 3-point and 2-point, shot the ball from the free throw line well as well. And just if they would have played like that for the entire game, they maybe would have won a couple more games during the season. And then the last thing I think is just the lack of scoring from the bench players. I think, yes, they're young, so I think we can give them a little bit of a break, but for this team to be a little better, if we take this team, duplicate it next year, I think those players, the younger players, are going to learn a lot more and are going to be able to step up and score when they need to.
Certainly a lot of young players were on the roster for this team, but we're going to talk to one of the outgoing seniors when we come back. Ciara Webb will join us in the studio right here on the Tiger Basketball Report.
Brian Vickers, Aaron's sponsored driver. He doesn't just love racing, he lives it.
We got the paper! Woo!
His pit crew follows him everywhere. Oddly, so does his boss.
Red, sign that, sign that.
And his passion for racing is rivaled only by his passion for errands.
No credit needed. I'll take it.
Woo! Woo!
Congrats.
Aaron's makes owning easy through lease ownership, so you can own the life you want.
You'll find it on the sidewalks of Little Italy and on the porches in Catonsville. You can see it when friends meet in Mount Vernon. It's pride. Pride in our city, pride in our people. That's why MedStar Health is building the most accessible healthcare system in the region to look after everyone from Lutherville to Locust Point. So no matter where you go, no matter who you are, you're never far from MedStar.
freshman calls, Coors Light answers. Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Welcome back to the Tiger Basketball Report. We're now joined in studio by senior Ciara Webb. Ciara, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So senior year's all said and done now. What are your thoughts as you look back on your senior season?
Senior year was definitely up and down, but it was definitely a good thing to do something that we haven't done since the 08 and 09 season, which was go to the second round of the tournament. Even though we didn't get to where we wanted to be, it was still great to do something like that.
So just kind of give us some thoughts about your career as a whole. I know you went through an injury. Just tell us a little bit about coming back from that.
Well, I feel like I came back from the injury not like I wanted to. It was definitely a mental thing, and I didn't really, my junior year wasn't what I wanted it to be. So I'm just grateful that senior year everything finally started to click for me again, and I feel like it came at the right time.
You had a pretty highlighted senior year in terms of team events. You mentioned the first tournament win since 08-09. You also had the first win over Delaware in quite some time, something that nobody in this program, coach or player, has ever done. What did it mean to you for your senior year to be able to do those two things?
Well, we definitely set a lot of goals for the beginning of the year, and it was good to accomplish some of them goals. And every time we did something that we haven't done, I made sure that I went up to all of the seniors and gave them a hug and told them, you know, we finally did it. So
you're going to be graduating in a few months. What's next for you after post-graduation?
Well, I'm not done playing basketball yet, so hopefully things work out for me and I'll continue to keep playing basketball.
We look forward to hear what you do after your time at Towson is done. Congratulations on a wonderful career here. We really enjoyed calling it. Good luck to you, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks for joining us. When we come back, we'll be joined in the studio by Dominique Johnson on her thoughts on next season.
What if we just take like 15 minutes?
Halfway through the game?
They got Pepsi. So what do we call that?
Halftime.
I like it.
Even the first halftime wasn't halftime without Pepsi. See Katy Perry live in the Pepsi Super Bowl 49 halftime show.
Strong can heal from miles away. Unite us for a common good. And turn a simple video into endless laughter. Strong can take you all the way to the summit.
So cool!
Blue. Think what Strong can do for you.
Can I play too? She asked.
AT&T's network now has the nation's strongest 4G LTE signal.
Welcome back to the Tiger Basketball Report. We're now joined in the studio by rising senior Dominique Johnson. Damo, welcome.
Thank you.
So Damo, this year you became a real scoring threat. Just talk a little bit about that.
As I switched into my junior year, our end of the meeting last year, during my sophomore year, Coach G had told me that she wanted me to be more of a scoring threat. So I came into this season, you know, trying to get the best possible shot that was for myself and for my teammates.
You've also, this year, you've climbed the ladder for three-point scoring in a single season, second most in history. Just talk a little bit about that.
It was definitely an accomplishment. However, I hope that, you know, continuing to rise on the three-point list, that I could accomplish much more with my team instead of individually next year.
3 years ago, you started out here as a freshman. It's also when I started calling basketball here. So now it's crazy for me to think that your senior year is right around the corner. Has it set in yet that next season's the senior year for you?
Ooh, I came in with 3 people. You know, unfortunately, they left, and I was left with the 5 seniors that's leaving me this year, and it's nerve-wracking. About a couple of weeks before we came back from spring break, I woke up one morning and I was like, it's really here, you know, and it's a bittersweet moment thinking about it.
You mentioned being the lone senior remaining now. Is that any extra added pressure on you? How do you feel adjusting to that role? You've always been a leader clearly on the court. Do you feel it a little more now that you're the senior?
The pressure is on, definitely, because we're welcoming so many new faces, and, you know, the freshmen, rising sophomores now, it's just they're transitioning as well as I am. So hopefully I could just help them lead to, you know, that left year that I have.
So going into next year, what are you personally going to try to work for to improve?
I want a championship more than anything. The individual accolades, you know, they happen when they happen. But as far as team aspect, I really want to take this team somewhere they haven't been. And that's just been on my mental since day one.
That kind of leads into what I was about to ask you. Your expectations for next year, you mentioned the championship and, you know, advancing further in the CAA tournament. You got that first tournament win under your belt. Did that give you any sort of, you know, knowledge on how you need to operate next year?
Of course. It was led by the 5 seniors, and I just hope that I could continue to do more and exceed more after they leave.
Well, we're looking forward to it, and we'll see you next year.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
And when we come back, we'll be joined by head coach Niki Reid Geckeler right here on the Tiger Basketball Report.
When cold refreshment calls, Coors Light answers. Frost-brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Mariner Finance is a consumer finance company, so we offer personal loans.
Mariner Finance is a great place to work. It's a great thing for anyone with the entrepreneurial spirit.
Everybody in every office has an opportunity to achieve and grow.
Be your own leader. Be a leader amongst the fellow coworkers in your office.
The training and development that we do at Mariner Finance is one-on-one. Someone who has been there, done it, experienced it.
There is no better feeling.
Learn with us.
Grow with us.
Run with us.
You'll find it on the sidewalks of Little Italy and on the porches in Catonsville. You can see it when friends meet in Mount Vernon. It's pride. Pride in our city, pride in our people. That's why MedStar Health is building the most accessible healthcare system in the region to look after everyone from Lutherville to Locust Point. So no matter where you go, no matter who you are, you're never far from MedStar.
Welcome back to the Tiger Basketball Report. We're now joined by the big boss herself, head coach Niki Reid Geckeler. Coach, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
So 11-21, 6-12 in the conference. You had an up and down year, though, a lot of great moments. What's your thoughts overall in this season?
I think you pretty much said it was an up and down season. However, the one thing that our young ladies brought every single game was energy and effort. And, you know, that's one of the founding blocks for us being successful in the future.
Coach, you guys started the season off hot with close games with some pretty good teams, Penn State, Wake, JMU. Then you kind of dipped off a little bit towards later in the season. Talk a little bit about that hot start and how you can kind of carry that on to next year. And
I think the young women were just ready to hit the floor and get back in a competitive environment. So they came out with the fire they needed to get off to a tremendous start in the very beginning. And you said it best, at Penn State they came out ready to compete. With so many young players as well as a lot of seniors, just trying to mesh made us inconsistent throughout the season from time to time. But again, we kept working hard, kept trying to identify who we were as a basketball team.
A little into the season, you guys changed up the way you operate. You unleashed an unrelenting press against the College of Charleston. We saw it off and on a little throughout the year. Is that something that we're going to see a lot next year, or is it going to be used like we saw this year? Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Oh, no. We need to make this a Tiger den, baby. You know, we want to get after it defensively. We want to be able to cause havoc, take people out of their comfort zone. So that was just the beginning of our identity.
next year, you're going to have a bunch of returning players. Of course, Damo, the senior. Talk a little bit about those returning players and Damo and what you expect from them next year.
You know, we sat down as a program last week and we really talked about where the future was headed. And it's really based on where these returning players come back. We just want to be a team. We want to be a family. We want to actually recommit ourselves to a lifestyle of basketball where we come in ready to play and ready to compete. When our babies come in during the summer, then we'll go ahead and welcome them into the family as well.
Moving from players who are returning to players who are departing, the program had a big senior class this year, 3 starters, Ciara Webb, Latori Hines-Allen, and Camille Albertson. What's the legacy for you for that whole senior class that's leaving us?
Again, they were the foundation to the program. You know, coming in as a new coach, you wanted players that were going to come in and really buy into what we were trying to get done. Ciara, as you can tell, had a tremendous season. Energy was there from beginning to end. Latori Hines-Allen really set records here at Towson University as it relates to double-doubles. And that leader, that positive voice all the time was Camille. So I think those 3 starters definitely played a major role. Markel Smith, we didn't mention her, but, you know, tremendous energy. She'd get in there and I'd look her right in the eyes and say, go get me that big rebound, Markel, and she really did. So this senior class, I'm going to miss them quite a bit.
So obviously the season didn't turn out the way you wanted it, but going in the next few months in the summer, what do you want to improve on for next year as a coach?
You know, for me, I want to be able to get this group to play well and mesh on the court. The chemistry is what I'm really looking for. Like you stated before, we've got a young group coming in. We've got a lot of returners coming back, and just really getting them to mesh and play well.
What are some of your expectations for the team going forward next year?
You know, for us, we're not going to worry so much about the results, but we're going to worry about the day-to-day grind. And we really talked about that. Again, just refocusing, rededicating ourselves, and our journey begins now. We're going to work hard right now to be where we want to be in March of next year.
So we've heard sparingly about the incoming freshmen, Brittany Tarr, AJ Timbers, Siani Martin. You also have 2 transfers who will be eligible next year, Raven and Rain Bankston, the twins. What can we expect from that group next year?
A lot of energy and a winning mentality. All of these young women are just used to winning. I mean, 2 of the young ladies that you just stated played on the #1 high school team in the country. So just that mentality from the day that they step into the CQ is going to be huge. So we're looking forward to them coming in and throwing them to the fire and getting them ready to go.
It's been an up and down season, as we said. A lot of really great moments, though. Before we let you go, do you have a favorite moment that stood out to you from this season?
I would probably say the William & Mary game. There was just so much energy from beginning to end. It started off with Markema Crawford, one of our freshmen. Unfortunately, she went down, but her defensive intensity. And then you can look at that huge 3-point shot that Ciara made to almost tie the game, and then Camille Albertson finishing up as well. So just that energy, and that's the type of energy we'd like to bring into the CQ every single game next year.
Coach, thanks for stopping by, and we're looking forward to next year.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll wrap up this season as well as take a look at our top 5 moments from the year right here on the Tiger Basketball Report.
Brian Vickers, Aaron's sponsored driver. He doesn't just love racing, he lives it.
We got the paper! Woo!
His pit crew follows him everywhere. Oddly, so does his boss.
Red, sign that, sign that. Yeah!
And his passion for racing is rivaled only by his passion for errands.
No credit needed. I'll take it.
Woo! Woo!
Congrats.
Aaron's makes owning easy through lease ownership, so you can own the life you want.
Come on.
Get in there, get in there, get in there.
Come on, let's go. 2 chicken tacos?
Go. Strong can pull you into the game and make you feel like you're part of something bigger. Think what Strong can do for you. AT&T's network now has the nation's strongest 4G LTE signal.
Welcome back to the Tiger Basketball Report. Ian, we had a chance to hear from Ciara Webb, Dominique Johnson, and head coach Niki Reid Geckeler. You know, after hearing what they had to say and we look back at everything we talked about, what are your final thoughts on this season?
I think that the team played hard at times, and I think it was a really good learning experience for all the players, even the seniors, because it was, as we mentioned, the first tournament win since the 08-09 season, the first win against Delaware. So both of those things are good learning experiences, not only on the basketball court, but for life, especially for the seniors. And I think when the returning players take the floor next season, they can take all the good moments and bad moments and just grow from that and become a better team.
It's a definite positive when you have so many freshmen who played so well. You think about Deja Thomas, Shania Butler, and then obviously Breon Huey, who started at point guard in more games than not. They got a taste of the tournament. They got to see what it's like to win in the tournament and what it takes, and that's something they'll be able to pass on to the incoming freshmen as well, who the team sounds very high about and very excited about. For next season, what does this team have to do to be successful?
I think they need to get the ball inside. They need a big presence because they are losing LaTorrey Hines-Allen because she's graduating. So I think one player we saw in the JMU game in the tournament was Brianna Bush. She really stepped it up. I think she scored in double digits in that game. So we saw her drive to the basket, play down low, play good defense, got a couple steals in the game, got a couple tip balls, blocks. So I think her presence and then the presence of the incoming freshmen and the other returning players, I think that's going to be huge.
And you always have Dominique Johnson, the senior guard, who will be able to hold things down and really lead this team. Before we close the book on this season, let's take a look back right now at our top 5 moments from the 2014-2015 season.
Huey in the web, into Hines-Allen. Hines-Allen spins, shoots, 1,000 for Hines-Allen. Hurd, cross court, it's picked off by Ciara Webb. Tigers off and running, they are wasting no time, quickly up to Huey, great pass, and she finishes! To Johnson left side. Johnson fires a deep 3. Bang again! Dominique Johnson! That one was just as pretty as the last. Bad inbound pass. Webb with Smith on her left. She gives it to Smith. Smith goes up. Finishes and one as she hits the ground. And there's the buzzer, and that'll do it. 71-49 our score. Swings back to Webb. Webb thought about it. Alberson in the corner for 3. Bang! Camille Alberson. Alberson thinking about the 3. She'll drive. Underneath is Markema Crawford wide open, and she hits 43-36. 5 seconds. They won't foul. 2-1. The streak is over. Delaware falls to the Towson Tigers. 56-49. Back up top to Johnson. For 3 is Johnson. Bang! Dominique Johnson. 3 for her. Huey out to Alberson. Webb on the right side. For 3 is Webb. Good! Ciara Webb for 3. 45-37. On 3, 2, 1. Hurd throws up a prayer. It'll be off. There's the buzzer. Towson winners over the College of Charleston. Their first tournament win since the 08-09 season. Webb quickly for 3, up, and good! Big 3 from Ciara Webb. 57-54, the lead's down to 3. Alberson thought about the 3. Webb for 3, and we're tied off the backboard. Ciara Webb knocks it up at 57. Hines-Allen clear path to the basket, and she scores. 63-57. And there it is, your Towson Tigers get their first conference win, 77-69 over the Tribe of William and Mary.
That William and Mary game, by far, Ian, for me, was, in 3 years of calling basketball here, was my top moment. It's fitting that it's at the top of this list. What stood out on that list from you?
I think that same game, I mean, it was really exciting to call, and it was just such a great game of basketball. And luckily for Towson, it came out with a victory.
Also, the Delaware win, you got to mention that. First time in 8 attempts that Towson beat the University of Delaware. No player on this team and no coach on this team coming out with that win, and it was great to finally be a part of it. You get it in your first season, though.
Yeah, it was really exciting. Hopefully from years to come, the Towson team knocks off a few other opponents like Drexel, who they haven't beaten in a while as well.
All 5 of them were great moments. 1,000 points for Hines Allen. I mean, that's just a great way to end an outstanding career. The College of Charleston blowout, we saw the new brand of Tiger basketball that Coach referred to, and the first tournament win could very easily be the #1 moment on this list.
Yeah, I mean, that was such a great game, and that was another game where it was both teams were playing great basketball throughout the whole game. So that both of those #1 and 2 on the list were great games to watch and call.
There will certainly be more moments to be made next year inside CQ Arena. We thank you for joining us for this special edition of the Tiger Basketball Report. And if we can't see you at CQ next year, you can always tune in to the Towson Sports Network, where Ian and I will take you through the action. Our thanks to Ciara Webb, Dominique Johnson, and head coach Niki Reid Geckeler for joining us. And as always, go Tigers.